Well, the project was originally titled The Forgiveness Project, and the idea was that we would use a bunch of old Apple computers to try to redeem Eve and the Garden of Eden. It was kind of an ambitious project, but art projects, I guess, probably should be ambitious. After having done computer support for over 20 years, exclusively Apple computers, Macintoshes, and having an old barn where I could accumulate cast-off computers, I wound up having quite a lot of them actually. A number of them worked. The idea was to use them to leverage the Apple logo with a bite of the apple to invoke the Garden of Eden and the story of the fall. The biblical story of the fall is that Adam and Eve were created by God, and that they were kicked out of the Garden of Eden after Eve, on the advice of the serpent, took a bite of the apple. The story of the fall is a very powerful story because it gives us a divine mandate for inequality. The story of the fall is that Eve was blamed for the maladies that befell humanity. The story of the fall tells us that women are to blame for all of the ills of the world, which is kind of hard to believe. The story of the fall also tells us that men are supposed to be superior to women, and that they are supposed to have dominion over women, and that women are supposed to submit themselves to men. That causes a lot of problems. When one group feels superior to another, it creates double standards. And double standards create enmity and rancor. The whole point here is to recreate equality between people. Well, that fits in, interestingly, to the Apple computer. Computers have changed the way that we do fundamental things. Computers have altered commerce, communication, language, image, music. These are fundamental human affairs that have been radically transformed by computers in the past 30 years. This is a big deal. The Apple computer has been very, very powerful in allowing people to do things that were previously unimaginable. Apple can't take full credit for the digital revolution that we see, but Apple has been consistently raising the bar for the entire industry every 6 months for the past 30 years. And so they really have driven the personal computer revolution, which has turned into an enormously powerful tool for humanity to evolve and to grow. I'm not the first person to recognize this. Other people have commented about this. So the computers together comprise a digital prayer. They are making an offering. They are making a prayer to God. If you just look at the installation as it is, you won't get it, because it just looks like a bunch of old computers showing the Virgin Mary on them and only. You have to look deeper to really get it. I sometimes call this the fruit of the forbidden fruit, because it uses all these old Apple computers to do something larger than the individual. We're finding that this is a rich band with a lot of pent-up commentary. Our objective here is to ask people to examine the background assumptions. We're asking them to think of the air they breathe, the light they live in. So many times people don't examine these common stories, these very background stories that help define us, and to reevaluate these and ask themselves, what about this? What does this say to me? What am I told by this? I think that a lot of people might wonder why they think